All right, football season's kind of starting to go, preseason football. And it was next week, I believe, Topps flagship football is coming out. So after about 10 years of not having a licensed product. And so thinking I'm going to do this one there. The Upper Deck 1991 Premier Edition. And then you have part of the heroes, the kind of start of the insert years. I don't know if there's anything, so I know like the baseball one had like Reggie Jackson signed some cards. So I'm not too sure what, this is like, I think the first series, or low series, however they called it. Let's see here. I don't know if that's better or not. You know, I know Brett Favre, there's a star rookie of him. So we'll just kind of go through. I mean, I'll probably just kind of do just only famous players or the all, Hall of Fame players or the Hall of Very Good players. Otherwise, this can be a long videos. Yeah, so this is kind of what the looks of the card there. So they, had like an upgrade on all this stuff. Who's that? That's Wade Wilson there. Jonell Williams, team MVP. They'd have, that's like a subset there. And then Jonell Williams. And this is Jim Everett. That was like Jim Rome. I was just call him Chris Everett. That didn't go too well. In case people don't know, Chris Everett's like a female tennis player. But, quarterbacks, and that was like back when also the Rams were, before they actually moved to LA. Moved away from LA to St. Louis. And there's a team season leaders, Jerry Rice. So it's Eric Metcalf, team MVP. Let's see here. Boomer Esiason. There's Deion Sanders there. Team card. So I think there was like 36 packs. There's Warren Moon on the season leaders. This would be passing leaders. Team MVP. And that'd be the team MVP looking like what they looks like. Let's see here. Randall Cunningham there. On the checklist. Ron Rivera, who's been like a coach. Jeff George. This Newsom. And there's the star rookies, so Eric Swan, that kind of what that would look like. Jim Harbaugh, the Bear. Yeah, see Derek Thomas there. You see the leaders. That'd be the sack leaders. 20 sacks. Bruce Smith was 19 sacks. Let's see here. Dan Marino there. That'd be, like I said, the team card with the person kind of doing the description, or the artist. So they did that for a few years with all the baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. And when I think about 1994, that kind of went away. They got more upscale. And there's Nick Lowry. Barry Sanders there, team MVP. James Lofton. Cornelius Bennett. And there's Troy Aikman. So like I say, this is going to be like a fun rip. And Sterling Sharp. There's Steve DeBerg. That's KC. There's like a trivia question there, Fred Barnett. Ron Stark. Yeah, Steve DeBerg. He was like the quarterback for the 49ers, Richard Dent, before they drafted Joe Montana. And so Joe Montana replaced Steve DeBerg. And then he went to, was it Denver? And then John Elway was drafted. And so John Elway replaced Steve DeBerg. So he was a serviceable quarterback. There's Warren Moon, team MVP. Thurman Thomas. And Craig Hayward, that's his son plays or was playing for Pittsburgh. Ronnie Lott, the feared defensive player, defensive safety. And let's see here. And then also like the rappers were all Greg Townsend there. Not like the Tops rappers, Charles Haley. The box was shrink wrapped, so you can't really open it up and try and maybe search the pack and then reseal it. So photography free was better. Let's see here. There's Matt Millen. Steve DeBerg, there's Team MVP. And then Joe Montana would eventually leave the 49ers and replace Steve DeBerg as the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. William Refrigerator Perry. And then a few years after this, you'd have like Carolina Panthers and Jacksonville Jaguars get into the league. That's the old Patriots, kind of what that looked like. Herschel Walker, there's a Viking. And that's a star rookie there. Dan McGuire, Mark McGuire's brother, younger brother. And then the Tennessee Titans was the Houston Oilers. Trying to think if there's anything else got moved around. Oh, there's no Baltimore Ravens. They were just the Cleveland Browns. Herman Moore, wide receiver. Yeah, so Brett Favre, that's the big one that you're going to find as a star rookie. Something probably the Topps flagship, they'll just probably have like the draft picks. They probably won't have them in any uniform. And I imagine there'll be a Series 2. And there's Rod Woodson there from the Pro Bowl. And looks like he's like a beach volleyball player. Randall Cunningham. He was one of the first kind of scrambling quarterbacks. And he actually was a punter too. I mean, I won't say he was the first scrambling quarterback, but maybe more like running quarterback. So he would fit in. In this league now. Kevin Mack, Jerome Brown, Darryl Green. He was, well, I think he was like one of the quickest or fastest players. And then, like I said, another Boomer Esiason. So we see some Jay Novacek, Todd Light start. I think it was pretty good. Eric Bieniemy, Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. And Rod Woodson there as team MVP. So we're probably halfway through, I would think, hopefully. Here's Vinny Testaverde. He'd actually play for the Jets, Carolina Panthers. There's a checklist there. That's, like I said, I had Dan McGuire. Yeah. He was like the poster boy, but, you know, didn't last too long. And then these boxes are, you know, relatively cheap. Charles Haley again. There's Michael Irvin. Checklists. Jerry Rice, team MVP. So, I think it's got to go there. Boomer Esiason. Yep. Okay. Sean Landetta is a pretty good punter. Derek Thomas, and this is Art Monk. There's a Redskin there. Steve DeBerg. And there's Howie Long. That's the other side of his card. Jim Everett. And there's Jerry Rice's actual card. Bob Golick. Oh, there he is. Little Brett Favre, the star rookie. Card number 13. He was drafted by the Falcons and then traded to the Packers. And there's a Joe Montana. It's probably going to be the header. They're called Heroes Checklist. So that'd be like the insert. And I believe that's the one we got. And then there's, they'd have like, other things. I mean, parallel cards. Finally get numbered cards. Oh, like there's like another Game Breakers. That's James Brooks from the Bengals. So that kind of sort of their holographic technology. Chris Carter. Freeman McNeil. Yeah. Pretty good. Looks like pretty good career. The Jets. That'd be the Indianapolis Colts too. So that'd be gone. So like I say, this is the Houston Oilers. So they were the Texans. And their owner was like Bud Adams, and he was one of the original ones from the American Football League with Kansas City Chiefs, San Diego Chargers, New England Patriots, the Jets. Willie Gault, who's more known as the track star. Anthony Dealwig, I think that's Otis Anderson. There's Herschel. There's Joe Montana. Kind of their time elapsed. And there's another Football Heroes of Joe Montana. 1981, A Star is Born. And I think it was in 1993 you'd get, it was either traded or he signed with Kansas City. Because, I mean, they have Sevion. Barry Sanders there. There's Randall Cunningham. Andre Ware, the Detroit Lions quarterback. Tim Brown, the Raiders. There's another Dan McGuire checklist. Freeman McNeil again. So you're gonna probably have, some cards, maybe, duplicate. Collation, could be an issue. Like early upper deck. There's Jerry Rice, season leaders. Rodney Pete, he was another quarterback for the Lions that was competing. Anthony Munoz. Icky Woods, to dance. The Icky Shuffle. So it's Dave Meggett. It's like a Pro Bowl team or team MVP checklist. Lorenzo White. And there's Barry Sanders' actual card. Okay, well, this will probably be my last pack. I'm just having some. Andrew Horizon. Roger Craig. Herman Moore for the Lions. Tim Brown again. And LLT there. Lawrence Taylor. Definitely was a revolutionary linebacker. So I got like about 6-7 packs to go. So I'm gonna cut it right now. So have a good weekend. I'll probably, I don't know if I'll do it separate of this other packs, but you get the picture of all these Hall of Famers, inserts. Emmett Smith there, Brett Favre, rookie card, Jerry Rice's, Barry Sanders, Joe Montana. So, it was a fun. Anyhow, have a good week. Take care.